I wrote a couple of notes down here, and I don't want to actually read them out loud because they're actually not the nicest.
No matter what you look like, I'm going to love you.
There's gonna be like little love triangles.
We could just be a little throuple.
Something changed, bro. Someone started drama.
I am so excited because my favorite show ever on Netflix is back, which is Love is Blind. I've been watching since season 1 religiously, since we first saw the literally iconic Lauren and Cameron grace our screens. We're back with season 7. I'm so excited. The thing is that going into it already, I have high hopes. Because obviously I want the show to be so good. I want it to be everything it's been since season 1. But then I also have lowered my expectations because of like everything we've seen in the past couple of seasons. No love, extra drama, people even saying what they look like, which, not to say homegirl didn't look like Megan Fox, because obviously like, however you want to identify is how you identify with people. How you see yourself is like all subjective. And like beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but that was a stretch in my opinion. Now I think she's a beautiful girl. I think to compare yourself to Megan Fox is kind of a little much. But right now I've watched season 1, episode 1 and 2 of, I watched episode 1 and 2 of season 7. And so I kind of give my thoughts and like kind of taking on this journey of like how my progression of the season, what I think is gonna happen, my opinion, and to see what I'm gonna think as we keep going, to kind of be able to look back on this kind of stuff. So I made some notes. Already off bat of season 7, my overall opinion of what I think is happening is, I feel like this is a season where we actually are gonna get a little bit more love. I feel like the biggest thing that people have been talking about recently is kind of just like, it's lost its touch. It feels like it's just any other drama show, any other reality show with all this drama, just there basically just to become the next villain or the next Lauren and Cameron, where they just want the fame because they know that they get such an instant following when this happens, when they go on these kind of shows. And so it kind of just started to feel like that, you know, very much like Shake with Deepti, or very much like how people are even saying like Clay with AD, like all these different people, Clay with AD, Trevor with Chelsea, like all these people, all these guys, I would say mainly guys, right? There hasn't been any girls I can remember, but I could be wrong. Many guys have come on and just get the Netflix check. I'm not too sure, but so far this season's felt like they really have shown a little bit more of like that deep conversation. People really are like invested and excited about it. I've already shed a couple of tears already on some conversations. So, but I made a couple of notes of how I feel like it's going. So first off, who we see is Mr. Nick D. And I have to say, when Nick D came across my screen, I was like, he's a smooth talker, as all the girls have said in the thing. He's a smooth talker, very sultry, knows exactly the right thing to say. And I have to say, I'm into it, honey. There was a couple of lights where I was kind of like, maybe not, but for the most part, I'm into it. Also, a disclaimer, I am not giving my opinion about who these people are as everyday people that I would meet on the street, right? These are characters that are on the show, and taking it with how their edit was gone, like that is what we are reviewing. That is what I am giving my opinion, my take on, my reaction to. Nothing to do with these people. I'm sure these people are very lovely, and I'm sure I'd be friends with some of them even, but we're talking about their specific edit and character on Love is Blind, which is very important. Nick D is paired up with Ms. Hannah at the moment. This situation I think is very interesting because it feels like, you know, every girl knows they're Nick D. Every girl has met the kind of person where, hell, the girls, the gays, and theys, whoever has met that Nick D, that very smooth talker, the one that knows exactly what to say, how to make you tingle, how to make you get wet, the whole thing. They know how to do it, and so but they've always been such a red flag. You're kind of just like, why am I into you? Why am I doing this? I know better, right? And I feel like all the girls in the pods, right, and all the girls in the show, back in the course, are kind of all like, no Nick D, blah, 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 move, pass, smooth talker, red flag, which absolutely. But I think we're getting to the point where they're almost getting a little bit, at least right now, it feels like we are jumping the gun a little bit, right? Like, I get we've all had our past experience, but obviously this Love is Blind situation is very different. You're coming on knowing that like what you worked out in the past didn't work, so you're on here to try something new. But just going off of someone that just knows what to say, how to say it, how to make you feel good, like to automatically write him off, I think is kind of a thing. And then on top of it, to give your opinion to somebody else, oh shit. To give your opinion to somebody else and almost not invalidate her feelings, but make her sound like you're just falling for the trap, girl. You're falling for the trap when, I mean, who's to say that he's not something different? I mean, we don't know Mr. Nick D. We didn't meet Mr. Nick D. So how can we say who he is, what he is? And enough to try to tell another girl to dump him just because you don't like him, which I think is so fucked. And the fact that Hannah even did dump him because of that, I mean, obviously, like, if he says something crazy, then of course flag it. But to be like, he said he likes you, like, red flag, red flag, red flag. I know to say red flag, red flag, red flag. It's like, I don't think so. I am not rooting for them, but I'm rooting for Nick D. I think justice for Nick D. This may bite me later on in the future, truthfully, but as of right now, justice for Nick D, okay? So my next on the list, as I feel like this is a good segue, is Hannah's other person, who is Leo. I am interested about the whole Leo thing. I wrote a couple of notes down here, and I don't want to actually read them out loud because they're actually not the nicest. What's funny is Nick D is seen as the red flag. My biggest red flag is Leo. It's interesting because he's the kind of guy that's like, you know, I don't want people coming after me for my money, people trying to get into me because of my money, you know, all these things just like obviously make sense. Like, I don't really know what the fuck an art dealer is. I have an idea of what an art dealer is. Obviously, I'm into art. Like, I somewhat understand it, but like, I guess I don't get how much money you are making off of it, nor do I really care. So it's just very interesting for someone that is so concerned about people, you know, caring about how much money he makes, only looking at him because of his money, all these different things, yet you bring it up constantly. The fact that you are wearing a Rolex and in one of the scenes is having other people try on the Rolex, but it's not about the money though. It's not about the money, you know, you're broke, you know, you're just a person that just happens to have money after like some unfortunate events, which honestly were very unfortunate. Like, and that's actually a different tangent. I feel like this season, really quick, also, I'm sorry, my mind is like, my sister said it's like spaghetti. You know, you jump from one noodle and you grab like 3 at once and then you're slurping one and then the next one's longer. That's just how my brain works. We just follow on, very much a squirrel mentality. Anyway, so all these conversations I feel like in this season have been so serious. We have learned about so many deaths with Leo. For the business, his art dealing business. Grandfather passed, grandma passed. Then mom passed, then dad passed, or like both got sick or something. It's just like, geez. And then Tim talking about how both of his sisters died, right? You have another girl who said that both her parents got MS, people dying from cancer. It's just like such serious conversations this season where it's just like, it was one of the criteria for the show this season that everybody has to have dealt with like some kind of very traumatic and very impactful death, very close to you, or very like sickness or something like that. I'm interested in that actually, because it seems like everyone has some sort of this. But anyway, back to Leo. So he inherited this business, and it seems as though like that has been what, at least in relationships, you've used to pull people. Because you can't pretend and be like, I don't talk about the money, when all you do is talk about the fact of you're hoping no one talks about the money. For him to say to Hannah, like, oh, Hannah, I'm so glad that, you know, that you didn't talk to me about the money, like about my job. Like, I just said I was an art dealer and you kind of just like left it how it is and like didn't like pry for questions. You know, I'm just like, you just heard me say art dealer and just moved on and said, cool. I mean, tried to get to know me as a person and who I am and my interests. But does that not only just circle back to the art dealing thing again? So even you didn't want to talk about it, but you honed in on the fact that she didn't talk about it, which is only gonna want to make her talk about it. But I love the girl for going. She was like, yeah, you said art dealer. And I was like, that's cool. Don't know what the hell that is, but like, I assume you're a dealer of art. And so I just kept it fucking pushing because that's what most people would do. I mean, granted, if you like understood it, like, but the thing is, it's like, if you ask me what I do for work, I tell you I work entertainment news, like, I love what I do. It's a passion of mine. Like, I could talk about it for hours, right? Because that's what I'm into. I love entertainment. So like, and so I would hope the person I'm talking to is interested in that and not just, who cares? So I thought that was very interesting. Thought it was interesting too that he said that Hannah was his twin flame. I'm like, I think we've thrown that word a little too much. Twin flame, I feel like the two of them are not twin flames, honey. Nothing about them is twin flames. You can just like the girl. Just say like, I like you a lot as a person. I feel like we click. You are not someone's twin flame. Like, babe, negatory. But I thought interesting that his other person he liked was Miss Brittany. He doesn't want someone that cares about the money. Okay, well that's not Miss Brittany, and you are into Miss Brittany because that's who you've pulled in the past because those people have heard about your money, seen you with the Rolex. I'm sure he pulls up in a Porsche. I'm sure he buys, he has no problem showing his money, which I mean, obviously if you have it, show it. Like, I'm not saying don't show it, but like if you don't want it to be that, if you don't want people to talk about it or notice it, why are you showing it? Which is why I think Miss Brittany is who he actually has gone with in the past because Brittany said, what's your thoughts on the bills, honey? And she said, the other guys want 50-50. That's not happening here, honey. And he was like, well, I hope like, someone puts some money in. You can see her face of some money in. Yeah, okay, I can contribute like $1. I can pay a gas bill, $45, $50, $60, I can pay that. You pay the $8,000 mortgage. Thank you. You pay the lights. You pay the car notes. I will show up with good hair, good nails, good shoes. And I mean, if that's what she wants, girl, that's what she wants. But clearly, if you're not trying to give that, why are we talking about money? It's just very interesting with him. It's very interesting. I just think and he keeps saying this thing, it's like, when he talks about his money or his being well off or like him going to private school, the fact that he said, I went to private school, blah, 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 blah. I've been Italian since I was like a fucking 1-year-old. Like my first word was bongo. Like, it's just like, I don't understand. And then he does this thing where I'm not trying to say, woe is me. Okay, if you keep saying, I'm not trying to say, look at me, woe is me, like feel bad for me. If you keep saying that, I think he said it about 5 times so far in the past 2 episodes. And baby, he's not on the screen that often. That means you do think that, and you do want people to think that about you. I don't know, I'm just saying. Anyway, that's Miss Him. Also, I forgot to throw in with the whole Nick D thing. Not Nick D also pointing out the fact that he says he looks like Henry Cavill? Superman. Nick D, Henry Cavill. Nick D, Henry Cavill. Okay, so no shade. You are giving Henry Cavill, honey. You are cute. You're not giving Henry Cavill. Let's stop shooting ourselves in the foot. Let's stop saying who we look like, okay? We've got to stop. If I told you I look like Michael B. Jordan, you would, and 1 + 1 = 2. Like, you would sit there trying to do the math. I'm not saying I'm the hottest person in the world. I also don't think I'm the ugliest person in the world either, but I know I'm not Michael B. Jordan, right? Like, I know I'm not. So why would I even say that? So now I've boosted myself up so high, and then now just to what? Look at it and say like, you're not giving what you're supposed to be giving. So that was funny. On to the next. My next is, so Taylor and G. Like them as a couple. I think G or Garrett seems very nice. Taylor seems, I love his comment about her seeming calculated. I think that was a very fair feedback and very fair point. You're trying to talk to someone and like she speaks very thorough, knows exactly what she's gonna say next, does not misspeak at all, and makes sure that every word she's trying to say is said the way she wants it to be said. Like, it's very much like that. And I feel like if you're hoping someone's being vulnerable, it's hard to think that someone's being vulnerable when the words are coming out almost robotic, where it's like, why are you having to not let stream of thought come through here? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just is very much like word for word for word for word. Other than that, I have nothing else to say about them. I think they are great. I called it from the beginning. They'd be our first engaged couple. The look he gave, the look she gave, I knew it off bat. First engaged couple. Do I think they'll last? I'm not too sure. I also think she's a really pretty girl. And for her to be like, I don't want to say my mom's first name because it gives away my ethnicity, which I think she could have done that a different way that didn't say anything about ethnicity. She could have just said, you can call her Miss Crush. You can go on a first name basis when she gives you her blessing, or when you bring her some flowers or whatever, like you can get on a first name basis, but until then she's Miss Krause to you. You can set it very cutesy without even remotely opening that door for ethnicity. I mean, for us minorities, it definitely is a scare when you're, you know, talking to someone that can't even see you and like not knowing if they're into you and if it will be a deterrence because of your color of your skin, which really is stupid, but like it's definitely a fear to be left for that reason. And maybe she has past history and trauma from that, which I've had that as well. So I totally understand, but I feel like you're giving away that the fact you're not white, and like, not that that matters, but like obviously like we can start putting pieces together, right? So yeah, I'm interested in them. I think I am rooting for them. I am rooting for them. I like her and I like him, and they're both physicists, which is cute. Actually, no, she is a clean energy policy consultant. Very bourgeois. Oh, but one thing about Taylor and G, which I feel like was kind of interesting, that could bite you in the butt later, was the kids conversation. When she said she wanted kids in 5 to 7 years and he said that's too long and looking for a compromise. And she kind of did like a little bit of a roundabout answer, and she didn't really answer it. She was like, well, I'm really looking forward to like a relationship and experiencing those things. Where in the past, I wasn't looking forward to experiencing those things, but now I am. But it doesn't sound like that's pushing the 5 to 7 years up. If anything, it sounds like you're fine with 5 as opposed to 7, which we all know the kids thing, babe, that is a big ordeal. Interested to see how that plays out, actually. Who else? I think my other favorite at the moment is, now who I don't understand is Monica. I love Ashley and Tyler. I think they're my next couple that I like. The other ones I don't really care about, but Ashley and Tyler, I love the way he talks to her. I love the banter that they have. I love the, will I see you tomorrow? We'll see. Can I hear something else from you? And she walks out the door. Like, it's just very much like they're even playing, not cat and mouse, because obviously like that can be toxic a little bit, but like she is letting him chase her, which obviously he's open to doing. And it's just funny seeing that in the pause, because obviously like, I have to come back to this room. Like, I have to see you in this room. I can't just not come to the room. So obviously he knows she's coming back, but still playing along as if he is pursuing her, which I really like. I love it that they had food and that he prayed over the food and also prayed over their relationship and like their future. I think that's so beautiful. I love a God-fearing man. Ugh.